Wolf, and with our first Zerg starting to the top right of the map, this is of course Shine, and to the bottom left, Shine for Samsung Khan, not for Team MVP. And at the bottom left we have Fantasy for SK Telecom T1.
Fantasy struggling a little bit in game number 1. See how he changes things up in game 2 on Daybreak. And Shine just hit with really nice timings. He set a lot of traps. I feel what Fantasy's downfall was in that game is he kept losing units here and there the whole time. He was never able to, even though he had the better upgrades, he was never able to get a strong enough force to just end it. And so eventually Shine just had too many different tech paths he couldn't deal with.
What I would have really liked to see is what would have happened if Fantasy would have waited for +3/+3 with his first big attack.
Yeah, that
Because
might have just ended the game.
that was a very close fight, as it was. And with additional upgrade lead over the Zerg, I feel that Fantasy could have done a lot here. He would have probably defeated the first army and with still a significant amount of his own force surviving, and then he could have tried to push into the third base or the natural. So that might have changed things, but the timing that he used was with 2-2, not 3-3. So did not work out well for him. On this map, it's going to be a bit different game though.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, see how the openings play out. Fantasy this time going for a barracks before command center, so he's going to be taking a slightly safer expand since he's down a game. I like this choice. And Shine, on the other hand, goes for hatch first. We'll see if he goes gas again, because that gas allowed him to be much more aggressive, I feel, with his lings. He was constantly putting pressure on Fantasy from the beginning.
Yeah, the early speed really helped him a lot with the aggression. And he goes into the pool now at 15 supply. Whereas for Fantasy, the command center is going to be the next step.
Yeah. You know what else the gas helped him with was getting those fast mutas out, which really dominated Fantasy. On that map, mutas are perfect.
No command center just yet for Fantasy. I had to wait a little bit until his orbital tech was started, but now from one barracks into command center. The Overlord is just sneaking in, having a quick look, running away. And this is so far lending itself to more of a late game scenario. We don't have gas for Shine just yet, so probably both players just trying to get themselves a third base, and we could end up in a split situation. This is one of the things that happens quite often on Daybreak.
Yeah. Fantasy takes 1 gas. I'm going to find out in just a second if he takes 2, because if not, we're going to see basically the exact same build from him. Going to Hellions and then into the third commander, but he does take 2. We could see all sorts of different variations now, from 2 factories to Marauder play to even Blue Flame Hellions. And Shine is going to take a third base relatively soon. No gases from him whatsoever. He could just go all 4 gas at once to try to throw Fantasy off, but that's much less likely than him taking a third.
Usually without the gas early on, you want to go into additional queens, not only get 2 of them out, but a few more so they can deal with the Hellions. It's really important to block the ramp with 2 of them, that you don't only rely on on the queens at the hatch itself, but have the block available. Then you can use your drones, sneak them into the main base, make sure that the Hellions just don't get their shots off. Because this is exactly what Shine would expect now from Fantasy, and also what Fantasy is doing. He's heading into Reactor Factory Hellions. Will at least get 4 out, probably 6 to 8, and have a quick look if he can sneak in with his forces. And for Shine, the question remains, when are you going to get your third base? When are you going to go into gas? We don't see a single extractor for him just yet, whereas Fantasy, he's already working at his tech.
Yeah, he's working on it very quickly here. No second factory just yet from him, so sticking with the 1. It's going to bank him up a lot of gas, which could lend itself into Cloak Banshee, something that has had kind of a slight comeback right now in this matchup we've seen. And there's the starport going up. We'll see what he does with the barracks. I would not be surprised to see that Tech Lab go down, and there it is. I think we're going to see Banshees.
Yeah, Tech Lab with the double gas that we have for Fantasy. Getting now the gas that he needs for Cloak and for the first Banshee, while we still have no gas for Shine. He's going into a third base at 6 minutes and 10 and no gas whatsoever. Drones, a few queens, and a lot of minerals mining.
Yeah, he's getting an insane economy lead. But can he defend the Hellions? With the extra queens, he should be able to do this. And with the extra queens, it's also going to help him defend against the Banshees, not only because the queens are a good source of anti-air, but also because he's going to have the creep extended to that third base very quickly.
There's the quadruple gas now. Taking all 4 extractors, double queen once again on the production tab, which means that he's going up to at least 6 queens. A lot of them already on the map, just waiting for the Hellions to arrive, spreading the creep, making sure that everything is just prepared for aggression of Fantasy, and Shine with a build that now is exploding in gas. He has the 4 extractors up, and he will get a lot of gas income that he can use immediately for the lair tech, for the speed, can go into upgrades.
Yeah. This is a bad situation for Fantasy, who now fakes Cloak in front of the Overlord. He's not going to commit to that because he knows it's just not going to work out at this moment in time. Cancel it. There he goes. But, I mean, everything that Fantasy is committing to right now in gas is just going to be shut down by these teams, which is exactly why this build for Shine is a good one for this map. It's a lot of Hellions and 2 drones already fall, but the Queens are going to be able to instantly go down and push those Hellions away. They're not going to be able to do much more.
You have the 3rd base, you don't really mind from the 3rd because you know the Hellions will take down those drones, but the Hellions can't really kill the hatch itself. So you have the Queens to defend. You need to make sure that they don't get into your main base though, and this is a little bit different now. Look at this, he's still moving in. He
had the wall with the chambers and the Baneling nest, but that was close. If he didn't have that Queen in position, as you said, he would have gotten right into the main. Queens now just making sure they're in the right place at the right time. The wall is set, but the drones are out of position. He could have targeted those a little bit better. As it is, he misses, and now the Queens push the Hellions back. This is a great position for Shine. The way he's controlling his Queens is really exactly how you want to do this build.
Yeah.
And his creep is spreading quite far as well.
He's protecting his 3rd now, and with the 3rd he now can get additional extractors, get more gas. +1/+1 has started, speed nearly completed, speed for the Banelings. The Banshee not doing too much. Shine is playing this just solid. If you're Fantasy, you want to do some damage. You want to go in and take down a few Harvesters, you want to make sure that you pressure the Zerg player. It's all about just not allowing the Zerg to play his game, forcing him to play at your pace. And this is something that Fantasy doesn't really achieve. He's trying to pull it off, trying to also set up a base for himself, a 3rd base. But Fantasy is up against a Zerg player who is very, very stable and well positioned.
Yeah, I mean, nothing he does just seems to work. He can't position himself with the Hellions. He's cleaning up Overlords right now, which is the first thing that's really annoyed Shine this whole game. He's supply blocked right now. But even Shine's upgrades are ahead right now at his Evolution Chambers. Fantasy needs to take a big push and do something with it, or take a risk with another expansion very soon. You know, with this expansion he has down there, he's doing it very safely with his siege mode coming out, but he may even want to try to take a 4th command center and get the extra mules from it, not at the actual 4th, but just a command center. And look at this.
A lot of Banelings, and he can just bust the orbital if he wants to.
Yeah, there's not enough units for Fantasy to hold this. He doesn't even have any bunkers up. The siege tanks, like I said, are coming out relatively safely, but
it's too late. He won't have the siege tanks in position.
But seeing this is really important.
Yeah. He only has 1 tank, but can he really set this tank up? I don't think that that's going to work for him.
Well, he can try to use his Hellions to add DPS unless he just runs away. He only saw the Lings, he didn't see the Baneling. He has no idea.
He has no clue. Now he knows.
Well,
he needs to lift. He needs to lift immediately.
Shine decides not to kill the base, but he can still kill a lot more.
Yeah, he's going to run in, tank down the Marines.
Lings coming the other side, a good flank here, and Fantasy still trading pretty well against us now with the Hellions. He has to kill these Lings though.
Yeah, those Banelings did not as much as you might have thought. There was a lot of resources lost for Shine.
Yeah, I think he should have targeted the orbital.
He would have been better off taking the trade, but he didn't. It's a trade where you don't really get... I mean, if you look at the resources lost, it's not worth it, but if you look at the mining time lost for the Terran, then it pays off. The problem for him really is that he committed a lot of resources, especially gas to the Banelings, and they killed a few Harvesters, but they did not take down as much as he hoped for. He killed only 7 SCVs.
Yeah, he killed very little. He didn't even kill that much of the army. He killed a decent amount with that first trade with the Lings from behind, but he didn't do enough damage to where Fantasy can't be active on the map, which he will start to do soon. He had, just a few seconds ago, like 18 active tumors at once. So he has a ton of tumors moving across the map all at once. That means a scan is going to take, it's going to take them out, but it's going to take forever to kill all of them. So his creep is pretty thick right now. Oh, that one Banshee is just so valuable in a situation like this, being able to pick off those Banelings.
Fantasy is now ahead in supply, which is also true because Shine is saving up his money. But a 40 supply lead at this point, being on 3 bases, having these upgrades up, this is a good position for Fantasy to be in. Shine is trying to correct this with a lot of Harvesters, 20 drones now being built for him, and he has 5 bases. If he is given time and can saturate those bases, get the economy up, get his upgrades up, then he's going to roll over Fantasy later on. But Fantasy is going for the aggression. Top right, we have a drop in the main base. taking out the first Spore Crawler and now hitting the Queen.
Yep, this is not good for Shine. He cannot afford to lose production like this. The drop is going to escape with not a single Marine loss. The creep spread at the front is good, but he's got to be able to defend drops like this if he wants to keep his edge in the game and hold that 5th base.
And at the bottom right, there's another drop.
He burrows his drones, though.
Bottom right being attacked now. Yeah,
there's a drop in the natural as well.
He's coming everywhere. He's going everywhere now with the aggression. The drop at the natural has been taken out, but at the bottom right now, this base is still being attacked. He could lose the hatch here, and he does. The hatch is gone.
Hatch is gone. Drop is gone as well. Totally flown out instantly. We have Corruptors on the way for Shine, who is really desperate right now. In fact, I don't think he has a hive. He's using Corruptors for anti-drop. This is a weird time to have Corruptors. I don't actually quite understand that, especially considering that his opponent's army is much better than his. He needs to be putting that gas into something else.
He wants something against those drops, though, and he needs something. You can either go into the Spine Crawlers now and try to prepare all your bases, but you have 5, so having those Corruptors out, I don't mind that too much. It's 7,
It's only
though.
7.
He could have built a few less Corruptors up at this point and waited with the rest until he has the Hive Tech and the Greater Spire, but a few Corruptors, they at least help him against the drop.
Yeah, it's kind of like a looking forward thing because he can defend the drops and then become into Broodlord, something that Mutas just can't offer him. He's got a great creep spread, kind of. I mean, it's hard to explain, but he's just basically got a really thick creep spread. And this Baneling attack here is either going to be extremely successful or not based on the splitting of Fantasy, and so far the splitting is good.
Yeah, those Siege Tanks in the back did too much damage.
And the Corruptors are just useless now.
It's not only the Corruptors being useless, it's just now everything is missing. What can he do? Shine is reinforcing with Zerglings, but let's be honest about this. Are Zerglings the answer to this army?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not with these upgrades. 3-3 about to get on the board, as well as he's clearing up this hatchery in the middle of the map. He's going to put the Zerg back on the 3 base.
It's also the Medivacs today here. This is just such a great composition for Fantasy, and everything just so is working well together. This is like a well-oiled machine. This is Fantasy, how he likes to play. And on Whirlwind, he was not really able to show it. Shine was too strong. But now in Daybreak, we see a very different game.
Double bunker setup at home. I love this for the potential run-bys. He's trying to find an opening. He goes now to the 3rd, but there's a wall there with bunker as well. Just can't find the window. He's going to maybe try to fight the army now, but the tanks re-siege instantly as he sees this come across the map. And this is never going to be a trade that Shine wants. This is going to be horrible. He targets the Banelings. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a sandwich position, an attempt at least by Shine to go for a sandwich attack.
That's like when you have a rock in your sandwich, man. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's when you have Fantasy in your sandwich. It just doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it certainly is less than desirable. Now, Fantasy is going to come in here, the 3rd base, kill these drones. He doesn't even have to siege, and he's going to be able to kill the remade 4th if he wants to. He's taking that basically matters.
He's taking out Shine. This is over. With those links trying to go in, but such a force and the reinforcements are now coming in. And this is GG.
GG.
1-1. Fantasy wins the game on Daybreak, which means that we are heading into the match on Neo Planet S next to see which one of those 2 Casper players is going to win it and goes to the 3rd round.
Yep, Neo Planet S, final map, set 3. And both of these players have played a lot of games on this map. This is a map that you see in Pro Leagues. It's a map they practiced a lot before it was even introduced to the GSL. And even though Fantasy's wearing the SKT jersey, I don't think it gives him an advantage unless he just really likes to look at the pretty butterfly in the middle. We are in the lobby. You know, I think if Fantasy just plays like he played in Game 2, he should be able to take this.
Fantasy played much stronger in Game 2, and it's also true because Whirlwind is just a map where Zergs can play a different style. It works very well there. Didn't work in Daybreak. Shine, on the other hand, you know, it's not like he played horrible or anything. The attacks that he took, he just didn't trade well.
Yeah, the Banelings, for example,
was a little bit off. He was much better on the game on Whirlwind. Yeah, this could go either way.
I'm totally with you. You know, the Baneling attack was not good for him. I feel it's when Fantasy kind of got control of the map and started to use it. The map is loading. We are on the loading screen now. This is GSL Code. One of these players after this game will go to the final round. Let's find out who it is right now on Neo Planet S.